Betrayal is quiet. It doesn't knock. It doesn't warn. It doesn't look like a villain. It looks like a friend, thinking. There is a moment, almost invisible, where loyalty weakens. Not enough to notice, not enough to alarm anyone, just enough to begin. And once that fracture forms, it spreads in silence. So what pushes someone to betray a friend? Not rage, not madness, pressure. No one decides to become a traitor. They decide something else first. I deserve this more. They don't appreciate me. This isn't that serious. The mind cannot tolerate seeing itself as immoral. According to Leon Festinger, when actions clash with identity, we experience cognitive dissonance, a psychological tension that demands relief. So instead of changing the desire, we rewrite the story. The betrayal hasn't happened yet, but the narrative has already shifted. And once you change the story, you change the outcome. Friendship survives on equality, but equality is fragile. The moment comparison enters the room, something dark follows. Their promotion, their relationship, their confidence, their attention. Each success lands like a quiet accusation. Why not you? Psychologist Alfred Adler argued that feelings of inferiority don't stay passive. They seek compensation. And sometimes, compensation looks like sabotage. Not dramatic sabotage. Subtle. Withholding information. Breaking trust accidentally. Sharing something that wasn't yours to share. Envy rarely screams. It corrodes. Betrayal doesn't happen in one decision. It happens in increments. Psychologist Albert Bandura described moral disengagement, the ability to disconnect from your own ethical standards without feeling guilt. It begins small. It's just a white lie. It won't really hurt them. They'll recover. Every step dulls the conscience. Every justification makes the next one easier. By the time the final act occurs, it doesn't feel like betrayal. It feels inevitable. The conscience doesn't disappear. It adapts. Strip away pride, strip away envy, and you often find fear. Fear of being left behind, fear of irrelevance, fear of loss. Under threat, the brain prioritizes survival over morality. The emotional centers activate faster than rational thought. The question shifts, not, is this loyal? But, will I lose? When self-preservation enters, loyalty becomes negotiable. And the more someone feels cornered, socially, financially, emotionally, the more betrayal begins to look like escape. You tell yourself you had no choice, but you did. You just didn't like the alternative. To betray someone, you must reduce them. You must turn a person into a problem. Memories fade. Laughter becomes irrelevant. History becomes expendable. Empathy shrinks. Once you stop seeing them fully, their trust, their vulnerability, the act becomes mechanical, strategic, clean, and that emotional distance is the final permission. In the obedience experiments conducted by Stanley Milgram, ordinary individuals administered what they believed were painful shocks to strangers, not because they were monsters, because the situation made it easier to comply than to resist. Context shapes intent. Change the pressure, change the incentive, change the fear, and you change the line someone is willing to cross. The terrifying part? Most betrayers never see themselves as betrayers. They see themselves as justified. Betrayal is rarely explosive. It is engineered in silence, in comparison, in insecurity, in rationalization, in fear. It is built slowly until the moment arrives. And when it does, it feels less like a choice and more like a conclusion. So the real question isn't, what kind of person betrays a friend? It's this: under the right pressure, with the right temptation, at the right moment of weakness, would your loyalty survive? Or would it fracture quietly, just like everyone else's? Because intent doesn't erupt, it accumulates, and the distance between devotion and betrayal is only one rationalization wide.